Hey there, Lance with Pool Aid Pros here. In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the flow valve in your pool's autofill. A few things to know before you get started is you want to verify the source of the water for your pool's autofill if you do in fact have one installed on your pool system. In some cases, it may be as simple as just a connection to a hose bib near your pool. In other cases, such as this one, it is actually connected through the irrigation system for the whole house. So we want to find that source and shut it off, because once you pull this out, you're not going to be able to put it back in if there's pressure behind it. So we want to be very careful and make sure that is verified and shut off. This is actually a very simple toolless job. Now, you may recognize this as a device that you can find in your own toilet, and that's exactly what this is. We bought this at a big box hardware store. It costs less than $10 and it does the job. This is for a autofill that the water supply comes in from the bottom. There are some autofills that the water supply comes in from the side, and we'll address that in a separate video. But for this one, what we'll need to do is pull out the old autofill and put this one in. So I want to explain a few things here while I have this in front of you, because once this goes into the autofill, it's going to be very hard to see. So what you're going to see is I'm going to disconnect this piece here, pull that out. We'll set this aside. And now, normally in your toilet, this white locking nut would not be on here yet. You would put this through your toilet and put the white locking nut on the bottom and tighten that down, and that's how it would attach to your toilet. We don't have access to the bottom of this in this particular case because it's underground. So basically what we do is we put the white locking nut and then this gasket underneath of it. We're going to thread it into the bottom, and then we can tighten this nut so that it presses the gasket against the hole in the bottom of the autofill. And that's what's going to create that watertight seal. So now that we're clear on how it works and what it does, let's get installing. But first we want to take out the old autofill valve. So I'm going to reach down and I'm going to lift up that locking nut as we discussed. And I'm just going to pull out the bulkier part of the autofill. And then from there, all I need to do is unthread this piece that's still left in there. So it's easy as that, just to take the old one out. And with the new one, with the locking nut raised, we're going to disconnect the two pieces. And we're going to thread it in. Be very careful not to cross thread. So now you can see it is perfectly vertical, and we're just going to thread it down until it hits the bottom there. And then from there, we're going to tighten the nut that compresses that gasket. And there we have a watertight seal. Now all that's needed is we put our new piece up on top, and we are going to want to adjust the, do the larger adjustment from here. So as I said, for overflow basins, I like to go just a little bit lower, and so that's why we're putting it in just down there, and we can always raise it up with the finer adjustment there. So then we're going to reach down and we're going to push the locking nut down into place. All that's left is to put our hose on. And the reason we want this hose is, now in this setting, it's not going to be as necessary because this is a unbroken plastic waterproof seal here. And so we're probably not going to get much water loss, but in some cases you may see there may be a line of concrete where this is underground and your collar here may be slightly on the top of the concrete and there may be some separation. It's not going to be a huge issue, but you want to make sure you lose as little water as possible. And also over time, that water can erode the dirt from around your autofill and cause some serious issues down the line. So now that we've got our hose in place, we're ready to test with water pressure. So as you can see, it is functioning. And if we lift up the float, We don't see any water leaking through.